Welcome to the latest episode of GPR, episode 166, where we are reviewing Flatline. But before we get into that, we just need to explain to you what's about to happen to the show.
Ooh, yes, let's do that.
I have just got a new job, which will be making me move an hour away from Drew here. Yes, I'm getting my own library and another system, which is very exciting for me, and it's also going to let us do some really cool stuff with the show in the long run. But in the short term, our episodes are going to be very, very spotty, very, very sporadic, but not to worry, we're still going to be releasing stuff. It might just take us about a month or two to get everything back on track. And about that time, we'll also be doing both the video and the audio. Podcasting.
And it's probably safe to say that we will go through at least the finish of Series 8 before this change takes place. So we'll finish with Capaldi's run with this one. Hopefully get it maybe set up in time. We'll definitely get Christmas, but just between December and most of January, there's going to be some trials and tribulations.
Yeah, I know. And even if I'm just releasing a quick little news bit or something like that, we're going to keep to try to stay out there, stay fresh, and make sure people know that we are still around.
Well, the advantage is too, if I get some good interviews from Li Who,
yes,
we can play those in the absence of our regular show.
And also with me at Geekello this weekend, I'm going to try to get some stuff there as well. So we got some really cool stuff.
We'll have stuff to show. It might not be the format that you're used to.
Right, but we will be going back to a normal format. We've actually structured a whole new format for the show, which I'm excited about. And also, part of that whole new format, we have actually started from the very beginning of Big Finish Audio's Doctor Who main range line. Bravo, Big Finish.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Bravo.
It took us, I don't know, 15 years, but we're
playing catch up really fast.
I know. So what we're hoping to do is, in the absence of New Who, we're going to talk about classic episodes or the main range of Big Finish, and then once New Who comes back on, we'll do a two-part show where we will have the new episode followed by. I think we're going to try to continue it at least with one new episode a week, if not more. Sometimes I think that's a lot to play catch up. It's going to be a really long time. So
So Flatline. Honestly, with this one, I don't even know where to start. I don't want to start. Visually stunning and amazing.
It was okay.
Special effects were outstanding.
Absolutely. Well, okay. So Flatline, it is the second story written by Jamie Matheson. Technically, it's the first story written by Jamie Matheson. Based off of the strength of that story, they pulled a Neil Cross and asked him to do a second one. So we got Mummy, which is the second story written first, followed by Flatline, but back to back. This time directed by Douglas McKinnon. Oh boy. Okay. On previous episodes, I've seen the little, I don't want to say lukewarm, just kind of middle of the road. I've really enjoyed all the episodes so far. I haven't loved any of them. I haven't hated any of them. Some of them have come very close to being loved, certainly highly appreciated. But I really, really liked Flatline.
Because after you saw it, I was like, and you told me, I was like, so, did you love it?
Yes, dude. I loved Flatline. I did. I'm not going to go so far as to say that this was an instant classic. Depending on how Moffat's Series 8 storyline finishes up, this could very well be, I know, isn't it ridiculous? This could be the standout one for me from this series. It is currently. And this could be a pivotal part in what happens next with Clara, because this is a very important episode. Theories abound as far as what it actually could mean. Oh, yeah, wow. I can feel the sweet tea surging through me. Like an addict, like Clara is with the TARDIS, I'm getting back into my sweet tea fix. But yes, visually, my goodness. What a stupendous
I would love to see the picture that inspired this episode.
Right, so apparently Jamie Matheson pitched this idea to Stephen Moffat with a drawing, which we haven't seen yet. So I don't know if it's the Doctor crouched inside a TARDIS. Oh, actually, you know what?
I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the creatures.
Yeah, okay. Ooh, let's talk about you know what? I do have something. I have two two things I didn't like about this
Okay,
episode.
so let's talk about the things you didn't like about the episode.
Because it's easier to talk about the things you don't like. One, the boneless is a dumb name for these things. I'm sorry, if that was your original idea, Jamie Matheson, while it's true, I think you could come up with something a little better than that. And I say this to the Doctor as well. All time and space, you can be a little bit more creative than the boneless.
Yeah, but wait, it makes sense, because look at how he's describing people. Person with pink hair.
Right.
Or, soldier. He's bringing everything down to a one-word description for things he runs across.
I don't know if you could legally call them flatliners, because, Kiefer Sutherland might have a problem with that. And one of the Baldwins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oliver Platt?
Yeah.
Julia Roberts?
Maybe.
Boy, it's been a long...
It was an all-star cast. It really was.
It was. I hadn't seen that one in a long time. So maybe you couldn't call it Flatliners. But it's not like I'm rallying against this episode because of it. I'm just saying that you can be more creative. And what I found was interesting is it took me going online to hear what he called them. Because this is one of those episodes we didn't watch it at Geeksboro.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it with an audience. I watched it at home. Thank you. Both Meg and I watched it for the first time. First and only time. I haven't gone back and watched this. This is the first episode, I think, that we've reviewed where I haven't watched it at least twice.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance with everything going on with me. I've only watched it the one time. But it leaves such a phenomenal, distinct impression. I mean,
it does.
You don't forget.
Well, here's the thing. I usually watch an episode, and from an audience perspective, not everyone who watches Doctor Who is going to be like us. They're not going to watch it, it's in the case of Deep Breath, 5 times before you review it in a 3-day period.
Well, that was also because we saw it in different formats, different venues.
But what I'm saying is, as fans and as critics, we're going to watch it multiple times. So my impression always changes, either for the better or for the worse, by multiple viewings, because I want to get a full impression of what it is. But your average audience sees it the one time with commercial breaks, usually, and then moves on to something else. So it's important to me to get an idea of what that impression is. And I gotta say, many of the episodes from this season I haven't liked upon first viewing. I didn't understand what was going on. The sound was bad. I didn't quite get it. But not so with these last 2 episodes. I have firmly enjoyed them. At the end of each episode, I've said, this was my favorite of the season. And while I really did dig Mummy on the Orient Express, I think Flatline surpasses it just for the sheer ballsiness of it.
Well, I mean, I think the 2 episodes, they're like apples and oranges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're different genres, different takes. I think they're both fun in their own right. I mean, I would sooner compare Flatliners to something like Blink or one of those one-off, the horror episodes, whereas Mummy and the Orient Express was more of a romp.
Not a robot of Sherwood romp, but
right, but I mean, it's different sort of.
Not Voyage of the Damned. I've heard a lot of people compare it to Voyage of the Damned.
Really?
Yeah. Celebrity singer in the cast, and kind of I'm not worth archaic. Technology out of time. Anachronistic technology in space, doctor in suit. I know, and I'm saying that's why I said not. And I heard a lot of people say, "Hey, Flatline, it's gonna be like Fear Her," which it wasn't.
No.
And I will gladly stand up and defend Fear Her on several points. Not entirety, but So I want to talk about the other thing I didn't like about it, and this is a kind of a quibble. When you have a threat, these characters, the boneless, the flatliners, whatever we're going to call them, they evolve during the program. And every evolution makes sense, and it basically in improv you winding up a scene, right? They wound up the scene. The problem was in basically the 3rd act, we get the giant hand that grabs the guy, which is visually very cool, thematically very neat, a little surprising, kind of makes you jump a little bit. The problem is they never go back to that jump. It's sort of like Nightmare in Silver, where you have the Cyberman that can run circles around everybody, but they never use that power again.
And I hope to God they never do.
but if you're going to have these creatures, this threat, be able to do that, you need to be consistent with it, and they should never do it again. But I don't know anything about technology. I don't know how hard or how easy it was to animate the boneless rising up in their zombie-like walk across the tracks. But that was gorgeous. I loved it. I think even my wife went, wow, that doesn't happen during Doctor Who.
If there was ever a moment to bring back Doctor Who Confidential, not these Doctor Who insiders.
Not the extra.
Extra, but an actual Confidential, it's this episode. I want the behind the scenes. I want to know if that was fully computer generated. I want to know if they were using guys in suits with the little motion capture balls. I want to know how that scene was constructed. And Doctor Who Extra, they might tell us, but I want a real behind the scenes making of, because this episode, I think by far has used special effects the best out of this series, if not the entire run of New Who.
It's always interesting when you have special effects. Special effects like music is, if it's done correctly, it brings you into that world without taking you out of the scene. And sometimes the special effect can be so good that it takes you out of the scene and you can appreciate it. And them rising up in the almost stop motion photography. I felt that one or two of the scenes may have actually been something projecting images onto a suit. I don't know. I really want to find out.
I know. It's just both. My girlfriend Maya, she is a huge graphic designer. She does a lot of art, and she was just blown away by what they did in that episode. I mean, I love watching the new episodes with her, and that one was just an extra special treat. It was just gorgeous.
So let's talk, instead of talking about the visual effects, because I think we can both agree that the visual effects were stunning.
Awesome.
Story-wise, now I know from reading some stuff that Jimmy Matthews posted that originally the Doctor and Clara were together. Mm-hmm. This was not scripted originally to be Clara, a Dr. Light episode.
Yeah.
And it is Dr. Light, because they're filming all that stuff with Capaldi alone on the TARDIS set, reacting to no one. And that's got to be a really lonely thing. You can see, like, for instance, the first 3 episodes of Star Wars, how having no one to interact with other than a computer-generated image can fail. I think they did a decent job that talks volumes about Capaldi's capabilities as an actor. But this idea of Clara's character advancing to the level of Doctor, and this is the important distinction here. This is not Clara being Clara and solving the mystery. This is Clara attempting to take over the position of Doctor. And I think it's an important distinction. So did you think she pulled it off?
Yes, but I think the important caveat to this whole thing is, she kept saying, I did a good job, trying to get the Doctor to say, yes, you did do a good job filling my shoes. It has nothing to do about goodness. And I think that moment she finally realized what it is to be the Doctor. In that moment she realizes that you can't always save the day, not everybody always lives. I think she finally understood the weight that is on his shoulders. It was just that line and the way he said it and that look on her face.
Yeah.
She was just like a light bulb. Maybe not all the way, but it started turning on. And she was grasping the concept, the weight that he has lived under his entire life.
Yeah, it goes back to the previous episodes where it's like, there aren't always good choices, but you still have to make that choice. During our missing episode, which will never be seen, we discussed a couple of ideas of where this was going to take Clara. You and I specifically said that given a choice between Danny and the Doctor, and this is I want to say after Time Heist, right? What's the episode after Time Heist? No, I'm
The Caretaker.
The Caretaker.
Yes.
So yes, Caretaker.
Yeah.
So during The Caretaker, you and I both agreed that if what we saw of Clara at that time, given the choice between Danny and the Doctor, she would take the Doctor every single time.
Right.
And that hasn't quite happened. But I feel that we are being presented, and this is not in a romantic or sexual way, we are seeing Clara cheat on Danny.
Yeah.
She's created, and I think purposefully, 2 different lives.
Yes.
the life of Danny, her mundane life,
Yeah.
where she is a teacher, and I think she actually likes that life.
Yes.
And then the draw of the traveling,
Well,
which she now can't give up. And we've drawn the parallels with addiction that they mentioned.
yeah. Well, it's the Clark Kent Superman thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think Quentin Tarantino did it best with Kill Bill. It's not like, you know, who Clark Kent and Superman. It's Clark Kent is who Superman believes we all are.
Right.
And I mean, she's sort of living that sort of lifestyle.
I feel it's funny that you said that, because I was thinking it was, in many ways, after Kill the Moon,
Yeah.
it was a Lex Luthor and Superman thing. I love Luthor.
Yeah.
I am a Luthor kind of guy, especially the newest incarnation of Luthor,
Oh,
which is basically
he's awesome.
saying that humans should be allowed to make their own choice.
Yeah.
And the Doctor is Superman.
Yeah.
The Doctor makes a lot of these choices
Yeah.
for the Earth. And maybe if the Doctor wasn't there, we'd lose. But we'd get our crap together and we would take that next step.
But here's the thing is, I think we have to, I mean, in that world, I think they have taken the next step, you know, with UNIT, with Torchwood, with some other things. But I don't know how much, and here's the thing is, I don't know if the Doctor trusts us to do the right things, even though we have the right things in place.
Oh, I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't trust us, certainly. But when we were talking about Clara and Danny, I think there's another evolution here. I think what we're seeing, and this is something that we had talked about in the missing episode, it almost feels like the Doctor is pulling a Seventh Doctor and Ace, in that he is preparing her to be the next Time Lord. And we talked about this episodes ago.
Yeah.
No proof of that, unfortunately. But every episode since, I'm still very much in favor of the Doctor is looking at things out of order.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they may never play into that.
They may not.
They may not. This episode may have kind of tweaked that a little bit. But who knows? But it does feel like who knows? We're not going to be able, it's like saying, who are you going to call? That line has been ruined now for fandom.
Yeah.
Brain working, track jumped, here it is. So it feels like if Gallifrey shows back up,
Yeah.
and if Clara, and I'm crossing my fingers for this one, you know, to bring Clara back to Gallifrey, and she has been to Gallifrey at least twice.
It just hit me.
What's that?
Okay, if we are going to lose her, and we know that there's an overall theme in the background, even if we're not seeing it, is that he is trying to get back to Gallifrey at this point.
Right.
If we lose her at Christmas time, what a perfect place to leave her at Christmas time on Gallifrey. Have a nice Gallifrey story, you know, where we see what has become of Gallifrey, you know, that it is a good place again, or not a good place, but it exists, it thrives. You know, we get some cameos there from some people that are actually supposedly on Gallifrey right now. I just think he'd be absolutely wonderful, but of course, if there were those cameos, we would have heard about them, unless he signed some really heavy NDAs.
Sure. I personally don't want to see that for this Christmas. I hope that Clara's story is not done.
Well, I agree with you, but I'm just saying, but here's the great thing is we still don't know. They have neither confirmed nor denied her leaving.
And well played on that, too.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a good job, because they certainly have us, in back of mind, we have to think that she might be leaving.
Yeah.
We also think, I hope she doesn't, because once again, and even more so than the visuals, is the acting by Jenna Coleman. I'm constantly amazed at how good of an actress she is.
I mean, why couldn't they let her do this in the second half of Series 7?
Well, because I don't think that the way that series was being written, presented, produced with Matt Smith, and this is important, getting prepared for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, I know.
I think some balls got dropped on that one, but that's okay.
But still, I mean, even the movie didn't have this, and the Christmas episode didn't have this. I think if you go back now, you can see little hints of it starting to poke through.
Right.
But I mean, my God, every episode.
It's good.
I mean, she steals the show almost every single time. And don't get me wrong, I mean, Capaldi is phenomenal, and when they're together, it's pure magic. But when she gets those moments by herself, without interacting with other people, oh my God.
She's great. She's absolutely great. And it's important to remember, too, that this is still the 50th year of Doctor Who. You know, our 50th celebration celebrated, you know, that first day of the 50th anniversary, but
Yeah.
this whole year, which I would say is probably the best season of Doctor Who since the show relaunched in 2005. Again, not saying it's my favorite, but still saying it's the best.
I'm still torn with Series 5. It has to end strong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is we can't have an end of time.
It has to stick the landing.
It has to
If it doesn't stick the landing,
Yeah.
this is going to be the season that almost. But right now, it is the season that can. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of different aspects. There's great humor. I thought the Addams Family thing reference was very clever. I had no problems with that. I think the siege mode for the TARDIS is really
Oh,
fascinating.
I love it.
It looked a little bit like the Pandorica or the Hellraiser box.
The moment.
Or the moment. You can buy the prop now. I think I put it up on our page on Facebook.
Let me know. I'm buying one.
It's expensive. But
I don't care, but I loved it. I just loved it. The visual.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I can't say enough how much I appreciated the special effects.
What about the kid?
Oh, okay.
The kid.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing.
What is his name? Because I feel bad I can't remember it.
Rigsy.
I want that kid to be a companion. I love that kid.
Isn't it interesting that we have 2 episodes in a row where characters who played the doctors, and I'm including Clara in that one, their kind of makeshift companion, the situation kind of left without them. You know, Perkins being the first one who, was Perkin a companion or was he actually Gus? Who knows? But let that debate rage on. Rigsy I thought was a really interesting character. There were a couple of scenes I didn't love when I first saw it, but the more I thought about it, realizing how kind of his situation with his aunt and
He's so much like Ace. That's all I could think. I could just see him
blowing
talking
stuff
about
on Nitro 9.
Nitro 9. I'm just like, there's something about him. Bravo to that actor to make me, because I don't always fall in love with some of the side characters or the companion lights. But my God, I want to know more about his story.
I think, who would be probably really cool is if you could bring him back in like a DW magazine or a comic and do a more graffiti-styled story. Would be really cool to have with that one.
Oh my God, we have another crowded TARDIS with Stormageddon, him, and then we need a female.
Bring in Ray from Delta and the Manor Man.
Yes, there you go.
She had a motorcycle. But yeah, you've got Ace, who all of Nitro 9 is in spray cans. So yeah, I think I get it. I think it's interesting that when you have Clara as a female doctor, and certainly the closest thing we've had to a female doctor since Romana, that you immediately have a male companion to play off that kind of dynamic. I thought she did a great job. I think he did a great job. I cared about that character. I think it's interesting that he attempted to sacrifice his life on the train. I know we're running out of time too. A minute.
I have to talk about. What do you think about the guy that just at the very end of the episode, all he did was tie his shoes? He's just been through that entire thing, and all he does is release up his boots.
Is that the kind of the jerk with no imagination?
Yes.
It's one of those annoying things where it's like you totally want that guy to get eaten. It's like a good horror movie makes you root for characters to be destroyed or killed. I'm rooting for that guy the entire time, and he doesn't, and it makes you think, it's not always the right people who...
Yeah, I know, but it was just so weird. He was just like, we just been through all this stuff, and I'm just going to tie my shoes.
No imagination.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Well, that's really good.
But we cannot end this episode without talking about Missy.
We can't.
We have to talk about Missy. Because I rewatched that scene like 4 or 5 times just to make sure
She was using an iPod.
To hear what she was saying correctly.
Yeah.
And she said, oh God, I forget the line now, but I chose correctly with
I think
her.
it's my Clara.
Yeah.
I chose correctly or well or something like that. Yeah. It puts more. Look, there are a lot of great theories that dip into the classic era.
Yeah.
That may come to pass.
I think
for audiences, if you want this season to feel self-contained, going too far back into the show's history is a mistake. So, my theory that it's something we haven't seen before, that's still number 1. Number 2 is some iteration of Clara or the Doctor from the future. You don't think it's Clara? That Dr.
No,
something
no.
completely different?
I really think I no longer think it's the moment. I think that's been blown out of the water with what we've seen now. But I really do think it's the Cal.
Cal.
Yeah. Some iteration of Cal, some amalgamation of those characters. Because, I mean, just think about it. I mean, Cal was taking people right when they died, or right before they died, bring them into a virtual world. There were multiple people in there. I just like, when I finally heard that theory, I'm just like,
Gus, 3-letter word. Cal, 3-letter word.
oh God, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really...
It's all computer related. Yeah.
I think it has a real chance of tying back to that. And if you want to get a cameo of River, this is the best way to do it.
Well, I want to get a cameo of River. I certainly know. That would make me happy. It would certainly make my wife happy.
A piece of jewelry with...
A cameo. Oh!
But I'm done.
Oh!
I'll look at Mitzi for you for Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun. Okay.
See,
anyway.
I know my co-host.
All right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to rate this thing, and I had to rate it, because I know we haven't rated it, not a classic, but I'd still give it the highest rating out of all of them. It's like I don't know if we're doing out of 5s, but 4.5 out of 5 or a 9 out of 10. I really
it's high. It's really it's at that 4 or 5 level for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, and with this season, it's been so damn consistent. And I mean, I don't swear a lot on the show, but I mean, it's just been amazingly consistent. I've pretty much enjoyed every episode. Some were a little weaker than others, but overall, it's just been a phenomenal season. And 3 episodes to go. We have 3 to go.
And the last 2 are 2-parter.
I know.
So much. Okay.
Yes. So this is GPR signing off until next time. Peace.